It's 5 o'clock, and welcome everybody to the Arts Commission regular meeting, July 10th, 2025. And we'll call the meeting to order, taking attendance. Carla is absent. JR is traveling about in Italy. Robert Sanders, welcome. You're here. Valerie?
Here.
I'm here. Cynthia Mason. Tracy?
Here.
Therese Kingsbury is absent. Reese, are you online? Can you hear us?
I'm online. I can hear you guys.
Great. Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Councilman Wittgenstein? Not here. That's okay.
Chris did ask to be excused. He
Okay.
is recovering from surgery this week.
Oh, boy. Well, I hope he's doing well. Next, we have an introduction. Do we have to approve our absentees? Do we have to make a motion to approve those that are absent? Technically?
I think because he's a, what do we call it, ex officio, you're okay with that.
Okay, and the others were good, just to move on. Okay. Introduction of our new Arts Commissioner member, Robert Sanders, taking in position number 3. Do you want
Thank you.
to just say hello?
Yes. Hello. I'm Robert. Everybody. Hey, Brian. Oak Harbor native, born and raised. Just want to help out wherever I can. Is that good?
And people know you from our lovely big
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls
That's the
Club
one.
in town.
Yep.
Thank
Boys
you.
and Girls Club. Unit director over there. Bring your kids. Bring your nieces, nephews, all that stuff. I also run On Our Own Arts. I know it's hard to say. Terrible name. We can talk about changing it if you guys are interested. But yeah.
Wonderful. Nice to have you. Number 3, approval of agenda. Does anybody have any changes that they like to see in our agenda tonight? If not, make motion.
Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Thank you. Agenda is approved. Valerie making the motion and Tracy seconding. Approval of the minutes of June 12th's meeting. Did you all have a chance to look through the minute? I submitted by way of email just a couple of suggested changes in section F on just elaborating on like where she's mentioning the art center to mention that it's a performing arts and event center, so those were sent to Sandra this morning. Anything else? We hear a motion with suggested changes I submitted by way of email.
I'll make a motion to approve that. Second.
This is going to be a fast meeting tonight.
Hey, Cynthia, so your suggestions were sent to me and Russell
Yeah.
and Kim. I don't know if any of the other commissioners
No, they,
have-
do
have
you
read-
want
Do
to?
you want to just read through it?
Yeah,
and
will you
so
do it?
they
Because I don't have them all in front of
Oh,
me. I have a
sure,
penciled
yeah,
one,
just-
but
In section F, funds were denied by DOE to the OHCAF towards Performing Arts and Event Center Initiative First Round Feasibility Study. Under the second bullet, the OHCAF want to approve. It was also noted that the OH Arts Plan Community Outreach showed results of community expressing want for a performing arts and event center.
thank you.
Just those
Just
changes.
elaborating on the language a little bit there. Thank you, Brian. So with those being read, let's do that again
Make a motion to approve
with the correction.
with the corrections
Thank
that
you,
have been stated.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? And now we're open for public comment. We didn't receive any in our packet, and no one's sitting in our room. This might be record time. Discussion, action, presentations, and report items in section 6, electrical box wrapping update. Is there anything on that? I know JR was making the next moves.
Already talked to him. Yeah, I got it. So the bids we received for electrical box wrapping came back higher than anticipated. After discussing the future of the project with Cynthia and JR, they're not comfortable with spending this amount of money to wrap the electrical boxes. JR had the idea to continue to use the artwork we have compiled and have the boxes painted instead of wrapping, and Cynthia liked this idea, so that's kind of what we went over last time. So the new idea that was talked about was use existing artwork from the schools and community partners, do a call for artists, and hire local artists to paint the artwork provided onto the boxes, and then add a clear coat for protection. Some of the considerations that Brandon had included in this was we'll have to just do some maintenance, rust spots and flaking paint will need to be removed just to prep the boxes. Boxes should be washed prior to the painting to prep them as well. And then we'll want to make sure that we have the correct paint type for the artist that has UV resistant, with a UV resistant clear coat. And then a question on whether we contract a single artist to do that or multiple artists. Also, there were questions brought up internally on what permissions we would need from either WASDOT or whoever that might be, as far as the boxes along SR20, and then who had access to open up those boxes as well. So we're working on those answers right now with an email chain with our streets and engineering departments.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions?
When do you expect to have them respond?
As far as the access to the boxes and permission for the SR20 boxes, hopefully, by next week, yeah.
Thank you. Placeholder for our would-be Playhouse Lions Head update. Teresa's the one kind of leading the charge on that, so we'll keep that tabled.
I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
do have an update on that, just from talking to a gal from the theater.
Oh, great.
At the fair last weekend. She just mentioned that they actually had some greater priorities in terms of our support. And so I just encouraged them to fill out our new form online and approach us with a presentation of what it is that they would like our help with.
Do you remember her name, Tracy?
I would remember if you said it. She's on the board, and she is director of one of the upcoming plays.
Okay.
Yes.
Is this Miss McCoy?
No, I don't think it's Mr. McCoy. Who are you saying this?
Shelby, I don't remember.
It was a lady, yeah. No.
Is this Miss Good?
Oh, Reese is asking Miss Good.
Dr. Good?
Reese,
Is that who it
we
is?
didn't share last names. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's just Shelby, I think her last name's Montoya.
Okay.
She's one of the directors.
Okay, then that sounds familiar to me. But I just encouraged her to have them gather and put a proposal with our new form to the Art Commission of what it is that they would prioritize as some support.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, quick reminder, since Kim will be doing the minutes off of the YouTube video, please make sure you turn on your mics. Thanks.
Last meeting, we were presented with the 7th Avenue Art Project discussion. Again, a placeholder for open items for us to move forward with. Is there nothing more on that right now? No?
Whatever you want to discuss, I don't have anything
Yeah.
on that.
I think we were going to wait for our workshop to discuss the opportunities that avenue might have.
We were
for
gonna do like landscaping and chalk, right? Wasn't that the
Yeah.
thought?
Okay. Procurement process training with Public Works Administration Manager Sandra Place, and Sandra's in the room. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Timmy has brought up my presentation, so I condensed about a 45 to an hour presentation down for you to about 10 minutes or so. But this is my first commission training, so I'm very excited to be here and to let you know about the world of procurement. Okay. Do I have to turn this on?
Oh, yeah, it's not on.
I just have to turn that on 1 second.
There it goes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so what is procurement? So procurement is the process through which a government acquires goods and services. There's 3 phases. We do planning and scheduling, we do source selection, and contract administration when it's all said and done. When we talk about purchasing, there's purchasing and procurement. Purchasing is the transactional. Procurement actually involves the pre-planning, the strategy. And this goes into a little bit more in depth. It's the act, function, and responsibility for acquiring equipment, materials, supplies, and services. So it's a whole gamut of everything that we do. Procurement includes things like requirements, selection, solicitation, the preparation and award of all of the phases. Oftentimes we hear we're the Department of No, or the Department of Wait, or the Department of Really. There's reasons why we are that way, but ultimately our goal is to get you from A to Z and make sure that it's a successful procurement. Why do we even have policies and procedures? Well, it's the rules. There's statutory framework that we have to follow. There's multiple laws concerning various different aspects of city purchasing, and quite honestly, they're changing all the time. We recently had an update last year, which made us do an update to our current policy. There's a bunch of codes and statutes that we follow. There's so many different methods of procuring goods, so when somebody comes into my office, I often have to just stop and ask them, okay, what's the scope and how much is it going to cost us? Because depending on that, we go different directions. There's also different state laws. We have our own municipal codes and our own city policies that we also can get even more confined if we needed to be able to have controls across the board. And ultimately, we want transparency and we want accountability on why we do what we do. So we have some procurement goals that we do here at the City of Oak Harbor. We definitely want to improve outreach with our local vendors. We help them get on the roster. We also help solicit them if they are able to be a contender. We want to make sure we right-size the contracts. We don't want to make something that's so detailed and so complex that nobody's going to want to bid on them. So we make sure that we have those right-sized contracts. We also do internal and external training like we're doing today on the policies and procedures, so everybody is on the same plane. And we are always looking for new purchasing tools that will help us be more efficient and more effective. We strive for these 4 pillars of excellence. We want to be efficient and fair with everybody that we deal with, internal and external. We definitely want to be results driven. We want to be able to be equitable, and we want to have a strategic plan. We just don't go out there just to buy. So we have a purchasing policy and manual in place. This is designed to assure our citizens that the city council and the city administrative staff, that the City of Oak Harbor is receiving our maximum value for each tax dollar that we spend, and that we're being fiscally responsible. It's also designed internally for our staff to be able to know what are the best practices and how to do what we need to do. We have flow charts, we have checks and balances, and again, training is another part of that. Where you can find the purchasing policy, the latest and greatest, is on the city's website under the purchasing division. There is a link there, and it takes you right to the policy. It's about 62 pages long right now. Internally, there's another spot too that staff can get to, but this is where anybody can see what we do and how to do it. This is just the main page and our table of contents, so you can see there's several different sections. And I've updated as of last April when we were given approval to increase some limits to make us more efficient. So we went from $50,000 to $75,000 without having to go to council on several different levels. We've used that several times already, and it has really helped the process. It's not to not be transparent, it's just to be more efficient. And even though we do have those limits raised, everything is available to be able to be seen regardless. And so we develop these matrices for our staff to know if they're going after a consultant agreement, this is what you need to do. If it's just a small purchase, this is what you need to do. If it's an art project, this is what you need to do. We also have competitive requirements. So there's authorization and then there's competitive requirements, two totally different things. So in our competitive requirements, I often like to use the term, if we put a penny, nickel, or a dime into any project, it becomes a city project and it follows procurement rules. And later on, we'll talk about the exceptions of how we can get around that, because there are a couple of those. But really, we have to remember that anytime the city contributes, we need to follow our procedures, and that includes anybody that we're contracting with. And these are all found in the document too, so you can, if you can't see them there, you can see them in that document. There's, as I said, exceptions to the rules. We have sole source. If we know specifically that there's one vendor and we can prove it, and we often have to have it in a letter format, then we can do a sole source, and that gets us past all of those competitive requirements. We have repair and ordinary maintenance. A lot of those are on a contract. They could be over a year, 2, 3 years. We tend not to go past a budget cycle just because we don't know what our budget strategy will be at that time. We do special market conditions on these particular ones. It's oftentimes maybe like there's an auction and we really want to get this piece of equipment or this item, and we know we're going to lose it if we don't go fast forward on it. So what we'll do is we'll bypass the competitive requirements, but we always come back to council to be able to make sure that we tell them why we did what we did. And insurance and bonds, they do not follow insurance requirements. Surplus property, again, that could also fall again under this market conditions. Interlocal agreements, we use this quite a bit. It's done through state contracts. It's done through a bunch of cooperative agreements that we have. Its nickname is piggybacking off of other people's work that they've already done. And then we have emergency purchases. And when we say emergency purchases, it isn't because we didn't plan. It's natural disasters, something that will have life consequences. Those are when we talk about emergency purchases. Real property, that's just land, fancy word for land. And community service group contracts, you've seen this before. Recently, it was raised from $25,000 or $2 per citizen up to $75,000 or $2 per citizen. So we've used this for, in your case, the angel statue. The windmill was given this funding. So what that ends up doing is, it's the city basically sponsoring those projects. Our procurement doesn't apply because we're just handing over that amount of money. This is the exception. And so if an organization wants to go and do it in their private, then they don't have to worry about all of those different levels of competitiveness that we have to do. And that was a recent change as of the last year too. That was the state raising that up. So I often, again, ask people, where do we start? Well, first you have to define your need. What are you expecting to do? Then we have to actually know, what is the scope? Now, if we don't know the scope, that's where we'll get into different levels of procurement. You have an RFQ, and we'll get to, I think I have a slide on that, is we don't know what we really need, but we do know what we want. So we're going to ask the professionals, what do we need to do it? We do RFPs. That's a proposal, a request for a proposal. That's when we know what our scope is, but we may not know every single piece of that. So we're going to ask those professionals to give us a little bit more than we already know. And then you have your invitation to bid, which is, I know exactly what I need, give me that end result, okay? And then that's where we determine the cost, and we have to remember the cost is everything: shipping, tax, installation, acceptance of the item, all that plays into that part, and that's how we'll determine which direction we go. And again, these are those acronyms that you might see throughout the manual. And I think sometimes you'll get into the A&E. You'll also probably get into the capital improvements. Some of your projects go into that. So we can go into, I could spend hours and hours and hours of going on in procurement, but I just wanted to throw those out there, and I'd be happy to have side meetings if we need to go over some more. Again, bids, quotes, proposals, project cost, everything included. How can the Arts Commission, what's your role in procurement? You definitely have a role in procurement. You need to be our partner. We want to have this process and engagement and communication. We want to know, how can we help you, and how can you help us get to where you need to be? We need you to be a resource to procurement staff. Share your stories, your knowledge, and your experiences and your expertise. You know the art world. That's not our house. We're just going to help you get to what you would like to accomplish on your commission. Understand that there are many things on the list across the departments. You're one of several commissions and departments, and just imagine each person has, or each of those has 10 projects on the table. There's 2 of us in procurement, and we are trying our best to help everybody get through and to safeguard the city at the same time, and we're happy to do it. It's just, remember, there are several things on the list, and that list just continually grows and revolves as we take care of things. Understand that things take time. I think we've talked, or I've talked previously about when we go out to bid, we do have a mandatory 14 days we have to advertise. We give them an extra 2 weeks to submit. Sometimes it's even longer depending on how complex the project is. Then we have to get ready for council, figure out when we hit council. Sometimes we're 2 to 3 months before we even get approval to get to that next point, and that's just because of timing and, again, how complex those projects are. And then understand that procurement has policies and procedures that we need to follow, and our ultimate goal is to safeguard the city. I love this analogy, and many people that have attended my trainings have seen it. So we can all agree that there's liabilities at the beach, sharks, sharp rocks, those types of fun things. But there's also a lot of great opportunities for fun once we're on that beach. So those that aren't involved don't often see that whole big picture that we're seeing across the board for the city. And so picture us as the lifeguards, procurement as the lifeguards, and we're gonna save the organization, and we're gonna help the Arts Commission, and we're gonna make sure that everybody sees that big picture, because oftentimes you are only seeing what you see. And so we're really excited to be part of that. And that's what I have for you today. And I'd like to thank you again for having me. I know it's super short, but happy to expand on anything you need.
We are so happy you are here. Thank you. And thank you for the condensed version of a very complicated policy and procedure manual. I have just one high-level question. With all of that going on and to partner with you as volunteers on this commission, is there, like, I'm always asking for a checklist. Is there a checklist to say, this is an event, and this is what you would have to do outside of the grid in your appendices in that? Is there anything that would help us answer questions for you to go forward with what would ultimately be needed as far as RFP, RFQ?
That is a great question. We don't have one currently, but I can totally create a template that kind of puts that in perspective. Is how much do you think it's going to be? What is the time frame? When do you need it? Kind of like a requisition that we already do in-house for procurement. That would be a great idea. And then that would be able to be submitted into your chain of command here and down to procurement.
I think
Yeah,
that
that's
could
lovely.
help
Thank you.
discussion too on upcoming or ideas that
Yeah.
the commission has as a whole going forward with our new plan in place.
You can already fill them out and maybe that helps you. Yeah, okay, great. I will do that. Easy.
I love the passion you have for procurement, Sandra.
I've been doing it a
How
long
long,
time.
I
and
was
it's a
going to
lot
say,
of
how
fun.
long have you been here?
28 years this year.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Any other questions for Sandra?
I just learned a lot in 10 minutes. Thank you, Sandra.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Tracy, anything?
No, I think you covered some great things from just an initial viewpoint of what you do.
Mr. Sanders?
Thank you. I look forward to working with you.
Yes,
That's
thank
about
you.
it.
Visibility. I should ask, Brian, do you have anything to add to Sandra's presentation for us?
No,
And
but as
Sabrina's in the
as she
room.
said, there's a lot of material, and it's very, internally focused for staff. This is a great presentation to have you guys familiar with the process, but as Sandra pointed out, she's happy to answer any questions. So as we get into some of these implementation projects, we'll be working with Sandra, and this will be a good review. If you have any questions, reach out to her. She's
Great.
very knowledgeable and a great source, fount of all knowledge with
Yep.
everything.
Thank you very much. Moving on then to visibility, our promotion/marketing with Communications Officer Maggie Aguilar. Anything?
Did you see the email chain going about that? Yeah, so we want to table this for the workshop and have
Okay.
this as part of that discussion on the August 15th, I think is what we had it as. Maggie wanted to be able to attend that though, and she's actually going to be out of the office that week. So she requested if we could look at rescheduling that, pushing that back maybe a week.
Back as the 8th or back, I mean, that will be hard when
Either-
there's only half of us here to do that.
Either way.
Can we request that by way of email somehow with the meetings?
Oh, for the date?
Yeah.
To see if everyone's good on the date?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you give me a preferred date with the commission we have here, and
Okay.
I'll send something out to the rest of the commission to make sure that that works for them as well.
So push back, you mean to the 8th or to the 22nd would be the next Friday, like that? Are you guys open the following Friday, the 22nd?
I'm fine. Were we trying to do this before, was it before, when's the next city council meeting? Were we trying to do this before something? I felt like there was
It was
something that.
just in place of a regular
Oh,
meeting.
oh, that's right. Oh, no, I'm fine with any date. Just let me know and I can be there.
I'm good either way.
How are you doing, Tracy?
So
That's
Just-
just a tough time for my family. There's like 4 different birthdays in our family that happen right in like a week period of time. But I think I would be safe on that day.
The 22nd?
Yeah.
Or would the week before, the 8th, be better?
I'm open the 8th as well.
The 8th would be
Maggie's out
better.
on the 8th.
Oh, she's
Okay.
out on the 8th. Do that
So
whole
what
week
about
through
the
15th.
29th then? So the 22nd, we can do it, but
The-
let's give them 2 dates.
The 22nd would be better. I can't do the 29th.
So it looks
Okay,
like,
so we'll propose the 22nd?
yeah, perfect. We were trying to, because it's going to be a longer session.
All right, I will send that out this evening, just to try to get a response, so we can make that official notice change as well.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Just as an idea and thought for this kind of, when you're scheduling something with many people, there are now apps or programs that you can send out and people put down their availability and you get kind of a logarithm of like when you can actually schedule something.
Yeah,
Just a
we use
suggestion.
Doodle Poll and a couple of those online sites, yeah.
Thank you. Subcommittee updates. Tracy, do you want to just comment on our meeting that we had with,
The parks
yeah,
folks.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie was there, Brian was there, Liz was there, all about this form development.
What we wanted to do was to expedite in the Art Commission plan, or the art plan, there are some templates for forms that were meant to be online, and we wanted to expedite at least one of them, so that since we have folks in the community approaching us with requests, and oftentimes they're not sure how to articulate what it is that they want and give us a good idea of what it is that they're trying to achieve. So this form now, I believe, is live. And so the team that Cynthia just mentioned, we just created it live right online, and based off the template, but also based off of our experience with the community and some of our other input. So pretty excited about that. What was it that we called it again?
Art project
Brian?
proposal form?
Yeah. So it's covering some criteria that they can think about on how their project is going to fulfill that criteria for the community, and talk about things like how much money are you budgeting for us, or how much money are you asking the Art Commission for, or what kind of help are you asking the Art Commission for, and what's your timeline, just all that, just a very complete view as much as we can get it. Oftentimes, having little prompts like that gives them some thoughts on how they can complete their story. So pretty excited about that. And then I know that Brian was, and Liz were going to be watching how that came through the system, and pass that along to the Art Commission.
Yeah, and this is still a bit of a draft. We're working on the starting and completion verbiage for it, but yeah, we have that live, so this is the first of the online forms, and we'll continue to flesh these out.
So it's not quite live yet then until those paragraphs are developed, or is it available for?
This is it is published on the
Oh,
Form Center now.
awesome.
Yep. Yeah, we're just going to add a little bit of introduction wording to it.
And at the bottom, I really liked about the question of what's next. So it gives our community member or groups an idea of what will happen after they hit the submit button with this document. And my only other question is, I know we had mentioned like 4 different ideas that had been presented between the plan being adopted and now with this form. Do you know if anybody reached back out to those people yet to show them that this is live? Like Bruiser and, yeah.
No, not yet. I
Okay.
think we're just putting some final touches
Okay.
on this, and then we'll work with
Okay.
JR on that outreach.
Perfect. Any questions? I'm really excited about that. Thank you. Next then would be Parks and Recreation Director update.
Okay, so we already talked about the workshop date move, and we'll go over communications at that meeting and the form submission, showed that. 3 totems, actually, I'll let Brandon talk about this.
Okay, I don't know what you were planning on talking about, but my 3 totems update that I was planning on saying was just the RFP is out for the 3 totems. It closes on 7/30/2025 at 3 p.m. So we should have some bids in by then. Sandra, I think you said we already received one. Was that correct or not?
One question.
Oh, one question. Okay, so somebody's interested.
Thank you. That was probably the first time you guys saw the 3 totems in that photo. I just thought it was like they probably have never seen them. Yeah. Good.
That would have been the view from the Sumner Park parking lot.
Yeah.
And I will be working with Sandra here. I'm finishing up the Gate of Inspiration RFP, and that should be out shortly as well.
Yay.
I do have a question, Sandra, based off of your presentation you just gave. So given this, the 3 totems scenario, and only one response at this time, what happens if we only get one response? Is this a situation where you're going to look at it as a competitive situation where we need to have multiple people, or what? Explain a little bit, from your aspect on this particular situation.
Yeah, great question. Brandon, can you pull up the RFP off of the website? This is an excellent opportunity to show you an example of an RFP. So in this case, we did not do a full bid. We did an RFP because we knew most of everything, but I'm sure there's some things that we aren't quite getting. And so we went out for a request for proposal. So what Brandon was referring to is during this process, people can ask us questions. They can ask to be put on the list in case anything changes. We do an addendum. So we've had one person only ask. So we haven't received anything in yet, but when we do receive them in, I typically don't see them till the day they're due. They'll drop right at the end date. So that doesn't mean we're out of the woods for anything like that, So what I want to show you on this RFP of what other people are going to see. And so what happens on an RFP is once we receive them in, we do an evaluation team. And that evaluation team does a separate evaluation about what they were presented in that proposal. And so you're not just based on cost, you're based on qualifications, you're based on what they're proposing, and then you can also determine cost. So it's not the lowest, most responsible bidder in this case. And that's probably good for a project like this because we're not quite sure how it's all going to look when it's all said and done. But it's going to be in Sumner Park, it's going to be this, you want it on a concrete pad, those types of things. So what Brandon and I did was we put together this bid package, and at the bottom there, you can click on it there and open it up, right there. So what somebody would come in is that they would come in and they'd look at this, and this is our proposal that went out. And if you'll scroll down, it gives all of our normal template of what the city does. We tell them about ourselves, what we're hoping to gain. This is going to be a turnkey project when it's all said and done. So whoever is going to put in a proposal, they're going to be the project manager. They're going to take care of permitting, installation, everything. And so if you scroll down a little bit more, it tells about how the Arts Commission got to this place with the arts. So they kind of have your background of what you've done. And then we've also included a budget. We've included the scope of work, as you can see there. We put in pictures so they can actually see the artwork, but we've also put in the location of Sumner Park so they have an idea. We've also told them that they can come schedule a site visit and actually get there and see so they know more about what they're doing. And then they're told what they're supposed to turn in, and they're also told what we're gonna evaluate on. And sometimes we give, as you can see here, higher points. We want to really know what their project approach is going to be and what is the cost at the very end. We don't really care too much more about staff at the 10 points. We care about their staff, but it's not the biggest factor in this thing. Like, have they been there for 30 years or do they have 30 years of experience? We really want to just see what is that proposal going to be. And we give them what our timeline is. And as that one you can see is, like Brandon said, it's going to come in on July 30th. We're going to review early August, hope to get to City Council in the second meeting in August if we can. If not, that will be subject to change into September. So that's kind of, we give them that time frame. But this is what a vendor or a consultant or a firm would see. And so that's what we're hoping to get back is all of these firms are going to come in, hopefully multiple. We narrow it down to at least 2 to 3, and then we can actually do a verbal interview with them and whomever would like to be a part of that. And then we again evaluate them, and it comes down to the numbers of throughout the whole evaluation process, who the team determined was the best firm, let's just use firm on this one, firm to do this project for the city of Oak Harbor. At that point, you enter into negotiations. So let's just say they came back with some options that we hadn't considered. That's when you start talking about pricing, and you start talking about what is the devil in the details, and then you put together that contract. And that's what we're actually taking to council is the contract. And so we're ready to rock and roll as soon as council gives that approval. And so that's a great question. So if we only get one in this case, that is all, that we can totally take them if it's just one, 100%. If it was a bid, we also could have just taken that low bid too, knowing that we've done the competitive process. It's not our control of how many people actually submit back in. But we've done the process, we've done our due diligence, we know that we did the best that we could do at that point. And I should also mention, this is going out to the greater Seattle area. It goes to the Daily Journal of Commerce. It's hitting everybody. It's not just hitting City of Oak Harbor, because we also do the Whitby News Times and on the website. And it goes to plan centers. They just start blasting it everywhere. So you're getting a huge range of advertisement there when you do it that way. So thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else, Brian? Thank you, Sandra.
Now, there's the other side of that where, like, for instance, with the bids for the electrical boxes, right? We got one bid.
It was too high.
Commission looked at it, determined it was not at a price that you wanted to go forward with, and so we rejected that bid and are now looking at alternate solutions.
Yep.
But you also have the option to go back out or make adjustments to the scope or whatever.
Good. Robert?
I got something. So I see it right here. That was 11,000 for 4 boxes. How many boxes in total are we talking?
13, I believe, is what we were looking at.
Got it. That's it.
Any other updates, Brian?
Nope, not this time.
Wow. Member comments. Does anybody have anything?
I think the Parks and Rec Department, I did attend the Mermaids and Pirates event, and it was popping, and it was a great event. My 11 and 13-year-old had a blast.
Tracy, anything? No? Robert?
Thank you all for having me. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. That's about it.
I'm going to throw on my Oak Harbor Music Festival hat. It's time, pedal to the metal for us. Sounds of Summer concert series begins the last week of this month on Wednesday. We will roll those every week for 4 weeks. And then Labor Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Oak Harbor Music Festival kicks off at 5 or 5:30 on Friday. Check out the website for the lineup. It's awesome. We'll start making some noise about all the music coming to town. That's all I have. Any determination of future agenda items to mention that haven't been listed as a placeholder? Actually, I have just a couple for us to put on as placeholder. It might have been a year ago now, Brian, we had that cab board for our welcome signs. And it was when Maggie was in transition to her new position here.
Yeah.
But she did say she still wanted to kind of be involved with that, and we had someone from the library, so if we could maybe rally those troops again.
Yeah, that is currently being done. Sabrina in the mayor's office have been talking with the chamber. I also reached out to Eric today as well. And yeah, so it's already, ball's already rolling.
Great. And then I think that was the only other thing I had in my mind.
I just remembered, and maybe it's still not time to bring this back up, but discussion about Oak Harbor looking into becoming an art district. Join our fellow, now that Coopville also is, so.
Two of us,
both
two of them.
Langwing and Coopville now.
Maybe that's a good workshop topic, just
Yeah,
to
we-
discuss those details.
We discussed that a bit during the art plan. Leslie had some thoughts and comments on that and some examples. We could also invite the Washington, because it's a state parent organization, and we can invite a representative from that to come and do a
And
little
talk,
information session.
I also, when I spoke to one of the gals that was on the team that brought that award to Langley, she offered also to come up and talk to us.
Yeah, that'd be great to hear from someone that's actually been through the process and pros and cons. Yeah.
That would be exciting if all 3 major cities on the island got that award.
I need to sidebar with you because the Oak Harbor Creative Arts Foundation has that kind of on their radar too, jointly with the city somehow, some point in time as a initiative, so we should have coffee. Okay. Anything else? If not, nope.
I got one. Yeah, this is it. I do remember briefly discussing like beautifying the parks before. I think that was last year. I don't know if you guys are still like talking about that. I'm kind of new, but if you're not, I'd like to discuss it again.
Yeah, we after you presented, we had it on one of our subcommittee agendas, and then we paused on the subcommittees for a while we were doing the art plan. So it's sort of been shelved. We can definitely bring that back for some additional discussion if you want to re-present that, Robert.
Well,
I would
and-
love to.
Yeah, and just the idea of what our subcommittees are now will be addressed at our workshop, so we can get honed back in on which need to continue and what's missing, if anything, now that the plan's in place.
Is there anything that Framework gave us for in the plan that a timeline that we should be following or should be a step ahead of at looking at? I mean, we got the form posted online, so I guess that's really the first step. Was there anything else that they gave us as like guidelines to do?
Not as far as I think what you're looking at for like a roadmap or a timeline of, okay, you should implement this year and this year. I think that is just going to have to be something that we work through mostly during the budget process, as well as looking at, staff availability to implement some of these things and who's going to take lead on some of these initiatives. So I'm sure that's something that we'll be discussing on the 22nd.
Thank you.
With no other comments, can I ask for a motion to adjourn at 5:45?
I make a motion that we adjourn at 5:45 tonight.
I second that emotion to adjourn at 5:45 tonight.